I was a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, overseller back in selling. I hated myself. And so I sat there and I remembered these 4 things and I was gonna take stock in them.
Could you imagine tomorrow losing all the money in your bank account? Now take that thought. Could you imagine losing $100 million? Well, today we are learning lessons from David Meltzer and how he lost $100 million and the lessons that he learned from that experience. Today's video is sponsored by MulliganBrothers.com, where you can now get the Inspire Change t-shirts and so much more with the link in the description, where 100% of the profits go back into creating this content. I'm your host, Jordan Mulligan. Let's jump into this.
So a lot of people ask me, how the heck did you lose over $100 million and go bankrupt? And it was really 3 points in my life that I look back now to say, this is how it happened. And 2, I will tell you how I got out of it, which is a lot of what I've explained already. So when I was 30 years old, imagine being a multimillionaire coming and growing up from nothing. Not only a multimillionaire, but I was running Samsung's phone division, the CEO of the world's first smartphone. They didn't even call it a smartphone in 1999. It was called a convergence device. It converged a phone and computer. But I was also married to my dream girl from the 4th grade, who my best friend Rob at 6th grade camp asked her to go study with me. And she said no, and he made fun of me in front of everyone. And so I got mad at her and threw an egg at her and then threw rocks at her and asked her why her friends were prettier than her. Imagine I'm now living at 30, married to my dream girl, a multimillionaire with an unbelievable position. And my dad, who left me at 5, gives me a birthday present, the first one in 20 years. He sends me a jacket. I'm so excited just to get a birthday present from my father. I think in my head, oh my gosh, he wants to have a relationship with me. He gets it. He wants my forgiveness for all the things that he's done to me. And I open up the jacket and I put it on and it fits perfectly and I start to cry. And my wife's like, what's the matter? I said, he actually cared enough to find out exactly my size. It fits perfectly. So I open it up to see if it says especially made for my son's birthday or Armani. He tore out all the pockets. I went from complete joy to hate, to anger. And I called him up and I said, Dad, why are you punishing me? I said, what are you talking about? I said, you sent me a jacket I can't wear. He said, it's not for wearing. I said, what do you mean it's not for wearing? He said, Dave, you need to know that money doesn't buy love and happiness. You're just like me, son. Hang it in the closet. Remind yourself every day you can't be the richest man in the cemetery. At 30, I wasn't ready to hear that. I told my dad, F you, I'm nothing like you. You're a liar, a cheater, manipulator, overseller, back-end seller. I want nothing to do with you. I'm nothing like you. I hate you. And I hung up. 6 years later, I'm running the most notable sports agency in the world, a dream job. I'm running the sports agency that they made the movie Jerry Maguire about. So not only am I multi-millionaire at 36, but I have access to things that billionaires can't even get access to. Sidelines at Super Bowl, the Oscars, the Grammys, the ESPYs, amazing things in my life. Not only am I married to my dream girl now, but I have 3 daughters, gorgeous, healthy daughters under 6. I have houses, golf course, ski mountain, boats, plane, whatever I wanted. And I decide that I'm gonna ask my friend Rob, the same friend that asked my wife to go study at 6th grade camp, I decided I'm gonna ask him to go to the Masters with me. He's a huge golf fan. We're gonna go backstage to back in the cabins with Curtis Strange. We're going to the NetJet party. We'll fly private. Joe Montana, Wayne Gretzky, Warren Moon. I said, Rob, I got the best gift in the world, man. Come with me to the Masters. We're gonna do all this. And he looks at me and he says, not a chance. I was like, what? Did you hear me? He said, oh, I heard you. He said, Dave, I don't like what you're doing and I don't like who you hang out with. I said, Rob, I'm not doing what those guys are doing. He goes, Dave, you can lie to me, but I'm really worried that you're lying to yourself. And he walked away from me. I still get choked up today because I was so mad. I remember telling him, man, Rob, I hate you. And he looked back at me and just went like this. Still today, I'm not friends with Rob. 2 weeks later, my life would change forever. I went and asked my wife if I could go to the Grammy Awards with a rapper named Little John. She said, no, I'm worried about you. You're not paying attention to the family, not paying attention to your business, and you're partying way too much. I'm concerned. So of course I lied to her. I went to the Grammy Awards, came home at 5:30 in the morning, a complete disaster. And there she was waiting for me. She looked at me and she said, I'm not happy. I'm leaving you. And you better take stock in who you are and what you want to become, or you're going to end up dead. And I can't wait around to see that. I'm sorry. I looked at her and I said, how dare you? How dare you? After everything I did for you, you were sleeping on a couch for $50 a month when I met you. Look around you. Who do you think did all this? How dare you talk to me this way? I hate you. And I went to bed. Woke up in the morning full of hate, full of anger. And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to take my wife's happiness away? I'll get divorced. That's fine. I'll take all her money. I'll show her. And then I looked over in the closet. Changed my life. That jacket. I looked at that jacket. Still today, I remember thinking, man, I don't hate my dad. I don't hate my best friend. I definitely don't hate my wife. I hated myself. I was a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, overseller back inside. I hated myself. And so I sat there and I remembered these 4 things, and I was going to take stock in them. Gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. Every day I practiced those for 16 years. 2 years after that day, I had to claim bankruptcy. I was so ready. I was so calm. I was so ready, knowing with faith that I was going to be okay. I knew that now I was happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. I had just figured out what I was doing to interfere with it over 2 years looking at these things. I saved my marriage. My wife was now pregnant with my 4th child, a son. Although I lost everything, imagine 33 homes, golf course, ski mountain, multi-million dollars, over $100 million, all gone. I'm now living in a rented house with rented furniture and 1 car, calm and at ease, confident and inspired that it all would come back to me because I'd cleared that interference, knowing that there's something bigger than me that loved me more than my mom, and I had lessons to learn. And I learned those lessons, and within 2 weeks, I made my first $1 million. I had clarity, balance, and focus on how to do it. I went and asked for help. Instead of trying to make everything happen, I simply just surrendered and asked for help. I lived, instead of ignorant arrogance, where I knew everything, even though I knew I didn't know. I pretended like I knew everything. I was Midas, I could make anything happen, to ignorant humility, radical humility, that I didn't know that I didn't know, that I was going to ask for help. And I went out, and people asked me, how the hell do you make that money back so fast? I just went to people and said, can you help me? What do you need? Would it help you if I did this? Do you know anyone else that can help me? And this simple strategy of open-minded versus closed-minded, asking for help and asking how I could be of help, has made multi-millions of dollars. It's put me into a place not only where I make a lot of money and help a lot of people and have a lot of fun, but my entire life is to empower others to do the same. If I can find 1,000 people, to empower 1,000 people, to empower 1,000 people, 1,000 times 1,000 is a million times 1,000 is a billion. I can create a collective consciousness with 1 billion people to change the world. A world of abundance where there's more than enough of everything for everyone. I get choked up when someone asks me who's David Meltzer, because he's so much different than who he thought he was. For me, David Meltzer is radical humility and kindness. Living my life. My name, David Meltzer, means beloved servant. I'm here to be of service and of value, and I live my entire life in humility to be of service to others. In order to implement change within yourself, you have to actually know the 3 things that you have in control of yourself. The first is you have to remember, and recollect that you have control of your mindset, that you give meaning to everything that you see. The second is you have control of your heart set. You have control of the way you feel. And then finally, you have control of your handset. You have control of the activities that you do each day. Activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for, activity you have planned, activity you don't have planned, and even your sleep. If you realize that you have control of your mindset, heart set, and hand set, then you'll realize that the world is always changing, growing, and accelerating around you. And it will allow you to work in symbiosis with that change. You will accelerate, grow, and learn. You will be able to find the light, the love, and the lessons through gratitude. Forgive yourself for the mistakes, failures, and setbacks. Take accountability to continue to attract more of what you want and learn from the stuff that you didn't. And most importantly, live inspired. Live in spirit, connected to the greatest source, this omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that loves you more than your mom loves you, and to be a resource for others, to give that same love, that same light, and those same lessons to others, to empower them, to empower others, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much to David for sharing such a, perception, such a terrible time and a terrible story. But once you're on the other side of a situation like that, reach back over, offer your advice, share that wisdom with people, because there's so many lessons, as you've just heard, in these kinds of experiences. If you're somebody who's been through something, you don't have to have lost $1 million, $100 million. It could be illness, loss of a loved one. But once you're on the other side and you think you've got to the other side, reach back over the hill, help somebody, offer your lessons to people, offer your advice to people. Don't just get through it and move on. You know, you have the ability now and the lessons and the wisdom to help somebody else. And yeah, and if you're just here to learn about business and entrepreneurship, I'm going to link David's stuff down below, his full interview, the Mulligan Brothers piece, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Today's video was sponsored by MulliganBrothers.com, the best motivational clothing brand in the world, where you can get the Inspire Change t-shirts and so much more with the link in the description, where 100% of the profits go back into creating this content. If you want to speak to me on Instagram or see what I get up to behind the scenes, it's at Jordan Mulligan Brother. Come say hello and go inspire some change. That's the most important thing. The mission, the movement of Mulligan Brothers is to inspire change. All the companies that we own, every single one of them is about inspiring change, and it's what we're all about. And if I can get one message across you to today, is to go be the inspiration for somebody else. Be the change for somebody else. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.